Hey, everybody, this is Perch, and this mail is going to hit on a topic that I don't think gets a lot of airtime, but it's absolutely true. It's called fear of success. So let's read this mail out. It says, "Hey, Perch, there are many people plagued by a fear of failure, including me. I often don't start or avoid tasks related to my creative goals because I envision a future of rejection and derision. This is a common problem that we're all familiar with, especially in the creative field. Instead, I would like to direct your attention to the opposing problem, fear of success. I have a close friend who has a job in the low six figures in tech, not comics, obviously. Ouch. This person will not consider going for a promotion or switching jobs because he believes that any increase in salary will have a directly proportional increase in job life stress. I'm skeptical that this is universally true. Is it? I don't want to give him bad advice. It's not universally true. In fact, in many cases, increase in salary often reduces a lot of the job life stress because now you're making more money that you don't think about certain these things. And certainly there's a phenomenon of people who make, $1 million now set their sights on making $2 million and on it goes. But with higher salaries and with bigger promotions comes, well, let's just say a lot more backup and support from HR and other places in management. Now, granted, you can always get yourself into a field where that higher level becomes a battle, for sure. But, in many cases, promotions do not increase job and stress in a lot of cases. Anyway, back to the mail. It says the concept of seeing success itself as a negative outcome is something I haven't encountered before, and I want to get your thoughts on it. If it might apply to people in comics. Are there real or perceived downsides to achieving success that might lead people to self-sabotage or stay in their current position? Happy to see your continuing to post videos. Also, as someone who has wrote more than one email to Comic by Perch, I'm personally offended by the rumors you're making up all these emails yourself. These are my ramblings. Start it. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, I think there's an element of success that it's weird how it plays out in comics. And I'll give you this example. There's a couple comic creators who have been successful in life, meaning they've gotten paid well, the royalties have come in, and they've bought nice cars, like Rick Capullo has a really nice car collection, everything else. But in many cases, the creators are unwilling to say this. They don't want to talk about their success. In fact, they downplay it heavily. And they do it because there's a fear that if they talk to that success, then their colleagues will turn on them or will start to kind of treat them differently or maybe even go for revenge. And keep in mind, that's not an irrational thought. That's not a completely out of the blue thing that people have said. In many cases, there has been revenge for success. There has been people who have kind of turned around and, done things that are pretty obnoxious to people who have been successful. And I think that sticks in people's heads quite a bit. And so even if they get a win, they tend to kind of quietly covet it. They don't say anything. And in a lot of cases, people will just make up kind of wild numbers on the spot, both for how well things are going or how much they're making. And all of this has translated to, at times, a pretty weird and disjointed view of the industry because, you can't really make heads or tails of what's going on when stuff's all over the place. That's common, unfortunately, in comics. that goes there. But kind of more where you were going with your question is actual success itself. So people who, won't go for that big title or won't go for that comic because they feel it'll be too successful. And I've seen that too. There's writers and artists who have intentionally steered away from places where they logically could get a promotion or, do better. And they've kept the smaller job. And it is that fear of, well, if I have a bigger spotlight, then, it's not going to look good for me. Or kind of linked to the first thing, if I take that bigger job or I take that promotion, my friends are going to try and sabotage me because, they won't want me to have that success. And yeah, that's a real concern, a real problem. And it is, look, and it's a real fear people have, and it's a real threat that hangs over people's heads. C.B. Cebulski, it was a very open secret that he wrote as Akira Yoshida. People knew it. Lots of people at Marvel knew it. It is an absolute balls out lie to say that, this was a complete mystery to people. People knew. And instead of it was weird because that knowledge stayed quiet, stayed an open secret. Nobody said a word about it. Nobody did anything about it. Magically, C.B. Cebulski gets promoted. And then suddenly it's like, hey, look what we found out. Now, for all the people who are saying that that was, oh, I just couldn't stand to see somebody, co-opt somebody else's culture and heritage. That's bullshit. It had everything to do with that promotion. If C.B. Cebulski had not gotten promoted, if he'd not gotten that job, nobody would have said a word. It would have continued to be the quiet, open secret. It was all based on when he got success. And so, you have lots of examples of that. It's no mystery that, Rick Remender had, magically he gets the Captain America job. He starts, it's rumored that Rick Remender is going to get the X-Men and going to have a higher and higher profile. Bendis is exiting some areas of Marvel, or at least looking to, and, he's having health issues at the time. And Rick Remender's star was definitely rising at Marvel. And then amazingly, suddenly this stuff comes out all over the place. Hey, he had this character in his Captain America comic who's technically a young girl, even though she was aged artificially, but she's actually 6. And now she's sleeping with Sam Wilson. This is somehow both racism and pedophilia. And they're like literally that, look at some of the stuff that was said about him. And what you should also notice in that case is did nothing to do with his politics. Remender is staunchly Democrat. He was very anti-Trump. Didn't matter. Didn't matter who he was voting for. What mattered was success. He got some. And the second he got some, everything came unglued. And, unfortunately, that is very wired into comics. And so you do have a lot of people who are worried about certainly the workload. If I get that promotion, if I do that extra job, it's bigger. I'm scared of the extra attention it would get. Maybe there's a little bit of imposter syndrome that goes on where somebody is, just nervous about how they're going to show up and are they going to be able to do this exciting thing. Absolutely, that all exists. But the other part of it is, there has been very documented, proven examples where, people are punished for that success, where, you get that spotlight on you and people come for you. And that's, just that's the fact. It's disappointing because I think in comics in particular, the comic industry would benefit significantly by more celebration of success, not kind of jealousy, not pettiness, but actual, real celebration. And if people could celebrate what some of that stuff looked, you'd see a lot of positive changes. You would see definitely people who are, just striving for that success rather than hiding it. You'd see people help each other out more because, generally, if you get a successful team, not just an individual on a book, it's even more helpful. See, there's a lot of ways where, being more open and more, acknowledging that success would be a benefit. But if you live in this world where, it's this very kind of gossipy, very revenge-based system, which is what it feels like, well, then you have the opposite. Anyway, there you go. I hope that was answer your question. Okay, what do you think? And what about you? Are you afraid of success? Afraid of failure? Does this impact your life? Did anybody get that promotion and realize that life gets a hell of a lot easier and you get paid more? It's amazing. Thanks for listening.